Central Podcasting Unit, episode 2. So today, I'm joined with Adam, once again, and Adam is joined with John, me, once again.
Fantastic.
We actually got around to making a second episode.
And almost on time.
Yeah, it's gonna be definitely late, but that's alright. We are pure amateurs. You can see the way that we have that camera hosted and the front-facing Apple iPhone view.
I'll give you a hint. It's stuck in a box right now.
It's stuck in a box. You know, that's how we roll.
Trust me, I'm an engineer, but I'm not, so don't trust me. We're just gonna kind of go with it.
Yeah, but we like the idea of engineering.
Yeah, we try.
One way or another. We got a couple of things in store for you today. Maybe a little bit less structured than last time. For the couple of you, maybe like 3 or 4 of you that actually are watching, if there's things that you like about what we do, leave a comment. Tell us in person. Most of you know us, right? So just let us know, and that'll give us a little bit of a better idea about what we're going to do. But at the end of the day, we don't care. We're going to do what we want to do because this is for us.
Yeah.
So,
like I said, we have the camera and we're bored.
Yeah.
To it.
Totally. So today, Adam, do you want to tell them what we're talking about?
Well, today we have a little bit of a theme. So everybody goes through their days, and there's things that they like and there's things that we don't like. Well, that's our theme today. So today we're going to talk about things that both butter our croissant and things that burn our biscuits.
Yeah. And exactly. I mean, think about having a dry croissant. That's not very pleasing, is it? I mean,
I don't know. I've never had a dry croissant, I don't think.
Well, that's right, because someone was there to butter it for you.
I'm barely sure what a croissant really is. It's like that curvy red thing. But, like, outside of that, I'm not sure.
Yeah, like, the closest thing to a legit croissant I've had are those little Pillsbury croissants that you get in a can.
Same.
And I'm pretty sure that that's not, like, necessarily a legit croissant.
Yeah, and
not
I
to
think
mention...
I think they're pre-buttered, aren't they? I'm not sure.
Either that, or I bet there's enough butter in them that they don't need to be buttered.
I don't know. They're delicious, though.
But I would imagine that if I went to a restaurant that produced and gave out croissants, that I would be pleased if they buttered one. What I wouldn't be pleased by is if I ordered a biscuit and it came out burnt. So
and that has happened, like, maybe ones of times with me, but it's very dissatisfying.
Exactly. And it doesn't matter the frequency with which it happens. It matters...
It's the fact that you expect a biscuit and you get a burnt biscuit.
Yeah.
That's the bad part.
Exactly. So we'll be talking about that today. And I think I'm going to kick it off with... Let's start out with something that makes me happy. Let's start on a good note. So, the first thing that happened to me this morning, aside from waking up and feeling like trash, was, got in the shower, came back upstairs, put on some clothes. Usually pretty frowned upon not to do that before you head outside. So
there might be some legal issues with that.
So don't do that. But
put some clothes on, boys and girls and whoever the hell you are.
Yeah, we don't care. So
once you head out, have something on.
Yeah. It's
cold out or hot out. Either way, put some protection on.
Exactly. One way or another, I go downstairs at the house I'm living up at school, and the people that I live with have a couple of very cute little dogs. One of whom is a wiener dog, and his name is Bones. And the other one is like this scruffy, like, little rat chaser, but she's, like, very cute and one of the sweetest dogs I've ever seen. And her name is Zoe. So, one of the things that just absolutely butters my croissant is when I wake up, I walk downstairs, and as I'm about to walk out, I just look over and I see these 2 sweet little pups sitting on their dog beds. And the thing that really... like put like an extra dab of butter on my croissant was the fact that Bones was like nuzzled up underneath a blanket, and the only thing that was sticking out was like his nose and a little bit of his face. And I know that he did that to himself because the people I live with don't actually care enough to like I mean, who's gonna like sit there and tuck in their dog before they leave?
I mean, I barely do that to myself. So
exactly. So
yeah.
So this cute little wiener dog is just he's just literally pouched up in this blanket, just staring at me as I leave, and that's a good way to start the morning in my book. So
I think the best
Yeah.
part about that is just like thinking of how that wiener dog feels in that moment, because that is the best feeling when you're just like completely wrapped up in a blanket and the only thing sticking out is your head, because you know the demons can't get you because your feet are under the blankets. You're nice and warm because you're wrapped up, and it's winter here, so it's cold.
exactly,
But the blankets keep you warm, and you are safe from the rest of the world.
exactly. I mean,
Plus, wiener dogs are adorable.
right. If you think about it, I mean, he's basically a little hot dog or a sausage or something, and it's almost like pigs in a blanket. I mean, he's just rolled up in there, and he's just a little cylinder. I mean, seriously, it's like, it's like, it's just the best thing ever. So that really butters my croissant, and yeah. So Adam, you want to kick it off with something that butters your croissant?
Yeah. So this is a great tip, actually, to anybody in customer service. So let me paint a picture for you. You've had a long day. You're all burnt out. You've been busy doing whatever you do all day. It sucks. You go home. There's no food, right? Because you ate it all, and you're poor, and you haven't bought any because you're like me and you're lazy. So then you have to go to the store and find some food, or go to fast food, whichever suits you. But I go to the store, and I find food, and I'm burnt out because I just spent my whole day doing whatever the heck I do. And then I spend that much more time looking for the food in the aisles, and they're probably out of whatever I actually wanted. Then I get to the cashier, and I pay, and they say, have a good day. And then I say, have a good day back, because, you know, I do want them to have a good day. I don't want them to have a bad day like I might have just had. And then they say, thank you, I will. And I don't know why, but that makes my day whenever somebody says that to me after the whole customer service exchange. There's like one employee specifically that does that every time. And I know he probably says that to everybody who says have a good day back, but it just does my heart a little good to know that he intends, or to pretend at least, that he intends to have a good day after I leave. Because like, we all have bad days. But the intention to have a good day and the hope to have a good day is there. And it feels good.
Yeah, that brings up something that Adam and I once went to the local Shopco here, and one thing that really buttered my croissant, really made my day, whether it was intended to or not, was we went through the aisle, and you know, a lot of times I'll prompt the conversation just because engaging with people you don't know is just most of the time awkward, so I like to get it out of the way as fast as possible. So, you know, I hand him whatever the heck I was buying, and I say, it's like, how are you today? And he's like, oh, I'm just currently living the dream at the moment. and you know, in that moment, that made me so happy, because it's like, I know that he's kidding. like, dude, you're working at Shopco. I doubt when you were growing up as a kid, this is where you wanted to work. If you did, great, but probably not where you wanted to end up working. Yet he said that, and he knew it was a joke. I knew it was a joke, but the fact that we could laugh at his situation at the moment, you know what I'm saying? The fact that he takes light of what he's doing, and that, to me, that basically says, you know what, I'm moving forward, right?
Yeah.
I'm intending on moving forward. If that is actually your dream, screw it. Work at Shopko the rest of your life. But, you know, this guy obviously doesn't want to work at Shopko the rest of his life just by the way that he phrased it.
Yeah, I mean, we know the guy. We know that's not his dream.
Right.
So, that really adds to it. The fact that we know that he's just having a little just at us, and we can relate to him on that level. That, like, we've all been in situations where, like, we're living the dream, but really, we're not.
Yeah. Yeah, so every day is a battle. So, just those little acknowledgments that, yeah, this is still life.
It's those relatable moments when you see somebody that you don't necessarily know, you've seen around, and you can relate to them just on the smallest respect. It helps. It really does. When you say have a good day and they say thank you, I will. It's like, yeah, I also intend to have a good day. We'll see if it happens, but I'm glad that we had this little conversation.
Right, and the other thing is you can look at that situation and say, we've all gone through the cashier's aisle and dealt with someone who was grouchy. right? We've all dealt with that employee who is just not having it that day. I've asked people how they're doing. They don't say anything. They basically act like I don't exist or whatever, and that makes me as a customer very frustrated. And that is something that burns my biscuit, but in a couple of different ways. Part of that is a lot of times, you'll go through the cashier's aisle and you'll say like, "How's your day?" And the person just gives you absolutely nothing. And it's like, if you were having a good day up until that point, it does not help. In fact, it might knock you down a little bit. But if you weren't having a good day and you spent that, like, those last morsels of your energy trying to, like, bring out some good in the situation, and that person just shoots you down, that sucks. But on the flip side, I worked in customer service for the first 2 years of my, like, actually having a job of any sort, and I have an experience that it burns my biscuit a lot more than that, and that is blaming the wrong people. This goes for customer service experiences especially, in that I was a host at an Italian restaurant, and you have a lot of people who want to eat food, and I think it's pretty obvious that some of them get hungry and angry, they get hangry, and they don't know where to put that anger, so they just shove it on me. Doesn't matter what I'm doing, doesn't matter how much of the situation I can control. If they are disserviced, it is my fault in their eyes, whether they've taken the time to actually realize, is this his fault? Or is this something he can't control? Is he trying his best? When people don't take the time to evaluate someone else's situation before blaming them, that burns my biscuit. Because there have been times where I'm busting my butt at Johnny Carino. Well, I probably shouldn't say that. I was working at Johnny Carino's. It doesn't matter. I was working at Johnny Carino's, an Italian restaurant. And there have been times where it's like, I am busting my butt. Yes, I'm just a host at this job. No, it's not where I want to be. It's not like I'm living the dream. But I'm working the job, so I better do it good because that's what I'm spending my time on. That's my approach to it. And I'm working as hard as I can, but I still just get treated like absolute garbage. And this kind of leads into a concept that I try and live by, something that I definitely stand behind, which is, it doesn't matter what your job is, it doesn't matter how much money you have, it doesn't matter what your current situation is. If you are out on the streets, like, begging for money, if you are, I don't know, if you're sweeping floors in the middle of the night for some building, or if you're, directing business in 8 different countries and blah, 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 it does not matter. The only thing that matters to me is how you treat other people and how hard you are working at that job. How much you are striving to do the best you can. And when I'm in that situation and I am currently striving to do the best I can, from my perspective, it doesn't matter that I'm a host at an Italian restaurant. Give me some respect, and I will give you respect. That's just how this all works. So as you can tell, I'm getting a little fired up, but it's all about respect, right? I mean, if you treat me nicely, even though it may take some energy for you if you had a bad day and you just want to relax, if you take that energy and treat me nicely, I'm going to fuel that nice energy into doing my job better specifically for you, because you have given me some leeway and seen things from my perspective. And that's something that I feel like no matter how high up we get in our careers, that's something that we've talked about. If someone's doing good at their job, I am no more successful than them. Like, if you're sweeping floors in the middle of the night, but you make sure you get every morsel of dust, if people walk by, I don't know if the building you're in, doesn't matter. If people walk by and you're nice and you do everything to the best of your ability and you're passionate about what you do, then you're just as successful as someone who is running a company. So that's
Oh, yeah.
that burns my biscuit.
I mean, honestly, some of the most respectful people I've known have been just janitors or butchers or low tier jobs. But really, they're not low tier. They're just as necessary and important, and they're great people in general. At least the ones I've met. But
Yeah.
your story, well, I'll let you finish real quick, whatever you were going to say.
Most of the time, those people are way more important to society than the CEOs. Like they directly impact. Like, I have to go home and eat supper.
Yeah.
I have to go home and eat supper. Who cut that meat for me? Who killed the animal? Or we don't have to go there. But who provided me with that sustenance?
That service,
right? It wasn't the CEO of Microsoft, right? Like it's someone from around here who's actually making the gears turn, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, CEOs have their place. Somebody's got to make the big decisions, but even the lower tier, and I'll put quotes around it because this really doesn't mean low, but
Right.
even the lower tier jobs are extremely important because those do affect our day-to-day lives. But your customer service story brings me to my burnt biscuit, because when I was in customer service, I didn't get paid for it. All of my customer service experience comes from volunteer work. And most of it was far better than paid volunteer work based off of all the stories I've heard from people who've worked at various customer service jobs. Because I would often, in my high school days, work at this volunteer breakfast that would happen once a week, where it's basically customers pay a low price and that'll just fund the breakfast for the next week. It was nonprofit. And basically a bunch of veterans wanted to get together and do this whole, it was called just the Sunday breakfast, because every Sunday they'd get together and make cheap breakfast for people, and it was like an all-you-can-eat buffet kind of a thing. And they needed help doing it, so a lot of kids from the local charity group and stuff would come help. And most of the time, people were extremely nice, extremely friendly, and that's what made it worth doing, is the interactions. But boy, there were some rotten eggs in that group. I remember very distinctly one time I went and helped, and none of the usual crew was there helping me. It was a bunch of other people who also volunteered, but weren't part of the volunteer group. They were a bunch of elderly people. They were my elders. They were far above my age, and it was fine and all. We got along, but like, I distinctly remember I was sitting there serving people, and it was kind of in a low shift, so I was standing there waiting, and we had all the food ready. We didn't need to make anything. All the dishes were being cleaned and stuff. So there's a lot of downtime. And I distinctly remember some of them standing in the back corner of the kitchen talking crap about me and my family while I was in the room so I could hear them. I don't think they knew I could hear them. But come on. I was there. I heard everything you said, even if you didn't know it. You could at least be careful. I mean, hey, you might not like me. That's okay. You probably don't know me. I know they didn't know me, because I had never heard of them before in my life. But there they were, talking crap about me and about my family and things they've heard about us, apparently, because, small town people talk crap all the time. But that really burns my biscuits. When you don't know somebody and you have so little respect for them that you're going to talk crap about them while they're in the same room with you, that's pretty low. And that leads me kind of to a second part of that story. I would also clean the tables and stuff when I was there, because, my young and strong shoulders could do that, and they would always make me go pick up the tables and clean the tables and pick up all the chairs and stuff, because, the people I worked with liked making me do things, but they were friendly about it. But I distinctly remember one customer, and I know he was just joking around with me, but when I was cleaning the table around him, because he was like the last person sitting there with food, he was like, madam, you're going to make you a great housewife one day. Which, that's perfectly acceptable. Housewives are great. They're good, responsible people. But I know he meant it as an insult. And there I am, serving him, cleaning up after him. And he had the gall to insult me to my face while I was cleaning up his mess. That burnt my biscuit.
The other part that burns my biscuit about that is that job or that work is viewed as low work.
Yeah.
And it's also viewed as wife's work.
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose from a historical standpoint, which most of these people are basically history to us.
They were elderly. But To be fair, I would like to point out that 90% of the time the people I were working with there were men. Like, it wasn't a very sexist environment, except for that one dude's joke. But yeah, it wasn't a sexist environment. Most of the people cooking there and cleaning there were men. So that was nice, at least. It was and women were there too. The ones talking crap about me were women. No, so
we're not trying to like.
not sure if that's relevant at all, but I'm just trying to show that
it's not.
it was a mixed environment of all means.
Yes, multiple parties of people were represented.
Everybody talks crap about me. Apparently, I can't even say the words.
Well, everybody talks crap about everybody, and that's something I wanted to address with your statement was, since they didn't know who you were.
They thought they did, apparently.
What do you mean? Like, did they know that you were Adam Good of the Good family?
Yeah, they were talking crap about my. Well, I'm not even sure talking crap is the right words, but they were discussing rumors, I guess.
And they knew that it was you.
Yeah,
that was part of that family.
Like at one point
sure.
they asked me who my dad was, and I told them, and it's like, oh yeah, that's who we thought. I was like, well, yeah, I can hear everything you say, but I'm not going to tell you that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's BS. I was under the impression that they did not know that you were who they were talking about.
They were having that conversation because they knew it was me.
Okay.
They would not have thought of me otherwise.
Okay.
I'm fairly certain of that one.
See, my thing is like, if you're don't act like you can't listen, right? Don't act like you can't listen.
Oh,
But if they're gonna talk crap about you, my opinion is, I don't like it behind your back. Say it to their face. If it's something that's actually a big enough concern to the point where you need to talk about it, be able to discuss it with that person. Because here's the thing, nobody's perfect. And it's like, I know that people talk behind my back. I know that I talk behind other people's back too. And my advice goes out to me also, because I do, everybody does it. It's bad, but it's true. So it's like, just whatever you say, stop and think, would I say this to the person's face if given the opportunity? Because if you would, then, I mean, you gotta be respectful about it, but it's like, if there's something about someone that's actually frustrating you that could be considered your concern, bring up that concern with that person. Give them the opportunity to make it right. That burns my biscuit just to hear about it.
And I don't blame them for it. I don't judge them for it, because we all do stuff like that. And I know that it was coming out of boredom. You could tell by the way they acted. They were just bored. And we've all heard the term gossip corner. That's exactly what it was. They were literally standing in a corner when they did it. It was just bored people talking crap for the sake of talking crap because they were bored. And I understand that. It was just very disrespectful of them, considering I was in the room. And like I said, I don't judge them for it.
Well, that's just weird.
I mean, people in my town do a lot of weird stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is
me.
West River, South Dakota speaking right here, so.
Yeah, we're kind of secluded from the rest of the world, I guess.
So, I mean, let's rope it back. Let's bring some buttering, some croissant topping.
Yeah, I could go for some butter.
Back up. So, excuse me, the coffee's ripe. So the next thing that I have is just about every morning during the week, before I go to my classes, I go and I get a cup of coffee from the local gas station. And I'll tell you what, it's a pretty reasonable price, about $1.19 before tax, for a good 20-ounce cup of coffee. And you can add in all of your special things, like they have little sugar packets, they have little creamer packets, they have the creamer machine where you can actually, dose it out by the gallon.
If you want to, you can fill a cup of creamer and then put a dab of coffee in there. Don't do that.
Don't do that, because that's just a jerk move.
Yeah, but you could. And
it'd be really bad for you.
Yeah, and it's probably not even going to taste good at that point. That's going to be
I beg to differ.
Sweet.
That'd be good.
I don't know, man.
But, nevertheless, they got everything. So, what really butters my croissant is depending on what I've decided to have for breakfast that morning. Maybe I had some eggs. That's kind of rare. But maybe I had some eggs. Maybe I had like a granola bar. Maybe a Pop-Tart. Maybe I even splurged and got a donut. Depending on what I get and how sweet that is, I will counterbalance it with how sweet I make my coffee. So let's say I did have the donut. I'm gonna put basically no creamer in my coffee, just enough to make it cool down so that I can have it. Like that's kind of the only reason I have it then. And then it's kind of like coffee bitterness down here, food sweetness up here, and the scale kind of goes like, woo, right? So like if my food is like absolutely not sweet at all, I'll get very sweet coffee. So that's the way I do it, but I'm not good at it. So what really butters my croissant is when I dose out those portions at the gas station, and it cools down enough to the point where I can drink it, and I got it just right. That is a great feeling. Or let's say, even if you're not in charge of the portions, let's say that you're sick at home or something, and someone says, "Hey, can I go get you a cup of coffee?" And they get the proportions just right. Like, if someone gets a proportion just right, I'm happy.
Oh,
like
yeah.
my mom makes the best portioned peanut butter and jellies ever. I can make it to what I think is the right portion, and it's wrong every time. Like, it just is. But when she makes it, every single time there is the correct portion of peanut butter to jelly, or proportion, or whatever the word is. That is the best.
When the bread and the peanut butter and the jelly, you can see each individual layer, and you can look at it when you cut it in half with a knife, and you're like, this is right. That is one of the best things in the world.
Yes.
By
Yes.
far. I have yet to get to that point myself. I've been trying, and some days I get close, and some days I don't.
Who's to say that you can't put it in between a croissant?
They got kind of a weird shape, so it's gonna take some tries.
Well, if you're
But-
using a legit croissant, and rather than like a Pillsbury thing, you could cut it in half and do a
Wait,
PB&J.
What's the difference between a legit croissant and a Pillsbury croissant shape-wise? I honestly don't know.
So a legit croissant is probably about 3 times the size of a Pillsbury. Pillsbury croissants are about that large.
Yeah, they're like
Right?
one per
like this
person.
space in between here, right? Like an actual croissant is like that big,
oh.
and you can like, you can't like peel it open like the Pillsbury croissant.
Uh-oh.
You have to like, it is all one, like after you've baked it, it's all kind of, the layers kind of mesh together. So you have to like slice it in half and put your contents in between. So that would probably work. It wouldn't be the correct bread though for peanut butter and jelly. Like, it wouldn't be the correct...
It's too fluffy, I think.
See, to me, it's, like, very dry. If you get, like, Wonder Bread or something, some sort of, like, white bread that's, like, unnaturally, like, fluffy and, like, nice, that's the best bread for PB&J. Like, the kind that they bleached.
Yeah.
You know that they bleached it, but you don't care.
I don't think that's the greatest word to use with bread, because I've never thought of bread as bleached, and now I don't ever want to.
Okay, well, that's
Okay.
all right. Let's
Anyway.
Let's hear what else butters your croissant,
Okay.
Adam.
Well, let's talk about that coffee. Because, so I started brewing my own coffee recently, like cold brew. So basically, you take the grounds and you put it in water and you let it brew for like hours on end instead of putting it through hot water, really quickly. And I'm no chemist or anything like that, but I think basically you're exchanging the heat for time, and as far as I can tell, it really takes the bitter taste, the acidic bitter taste out of the coffee and leaves you just with like the nice coffee taste, which is what I prefer. So that really helps my coffee. And then I put a little bit of milk in it. And I don't have I have measuring cups, but I don't use them when I put the milk in my coffee, right? So I just kind of dip it in and try to get the right amount. And then when you stir it, it changes from a really black, dark coffee color to, it looks like
Heaven.
the best, imagine the best hot chocolate color ever. Without the frothiness, like, ignore the frothiness, the, like, thick, creamy, chocolatey color. Oh, when you get that amount of milk in your coffee, it is so good. So good. And whenever I get that, I know the rest of my day is going to be better than it would have if I hadn't done that.
Yeah, sometimes Adam will walk into class and he's carrying his mug.
Ah, yeah.
and I can literally see on his face that his croissant has been buttered.
My coffee has been milked just to the right extent.
His coffee's been milked.
Yeah, it's like the ideal flavor of cold coffee, in my opinion. Maybe I'm weird. I don't know. But it is my favorite flavor of coffee. Like, I'll just, like, pour it in, then take a sip afterwards, and just sit there and savor it. And that's pretty weird for me, because I don't sit there and savor a lot of things.
Oh, man. That's like a whole other discussion. But
yeah,
let's not get into it.
We can talk about coffee for way longer than we should.
Yeah, so...
Such a good butter.
Yeah, we're going to move on. We're going to do one of our little bits to break up the action. So what we're going to do is the drawing thing. So... I'm going to go and get a pen, and Adam's going to grab some paper. So bear with us, because I'm too lazy to edit this out. And I also need to check how long the podcast is running. We're at 31 minutes right now.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
We can do this and end, like, shortly after.
Yeah, I don't want to, though. We have a lot more to talk to.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, we can talk about a little more afterwards and then end.
Yes. Okay, so if you tuned in last time, you know that Adam drew us a beautiful Nyan Pop-Tart cat. Today,
all right.
I'm going to choose something else for Adam to draw. He's going to choose something for me. And what we're going to do is we're both going to draw at the same time, based off memory. And we're going to, have a certain amount of time to do it. But we have to do it with our least dominant hand. You probably need a writing utensil of some sort.
I didn't even think of that yet. I'll be right back.
So
This will work.
So while he's doing that, I'll look up what I'm going to look up for him. If I can figure out how to use this Mac.
We have a dry erase expo marker that is almost dead. But we're going to give it our best try.
Alright, so a dry erase marker, does it work on the paper?
It worked.
Oh, I guess that works okay.
Well, it'll be unique.
Okay, sounds good. So
That
let me
even
find
see.
something for Adam to draw.
I'll find something on my phone for you to try.
Yeah,
That way we can
go for it.
Wow, so I just googled awesome drawings.
So, yeah, I'm not going to tell you what I actually chose for Adam. I'm just going
there we
to
go.
let him see it. He's going to draw. We're going to do it for like a minute. We get 1 minute. I'll get the timer ready. And then after the minute's up, we will show you a side-by-side. So make sure you keep whatever image you show me. And we're going to show a side-by-side of each of our drawings. And you can comment below saying which drawing you like the best, if you even enjoyed our art. So, anywho, let me pull up a stopwatch here. And Adam, here is your image.
Oh Lord. Well, here's yours. It's that.
Okay.
I just randomly found it.
All right, you can lock your phone. I'll try and do that, and you can try and do this. 1 minute on the clock.
Oh no.
Here, go.
Not even sure how to do this.
This looks like it's something out of some like weird teen boy's dream.
Yeah, you are right. It does have that look about it. I legitimately just googled awesome drawings and that was one of the things that came up.
Oh yeah. We are art majors at DSU.
Yet. Oh, God.
I rarely use my left hand to do anything.
Oh, crap. I was using the wrong hand.
That's okay. That's okay. Keep going.
Didn't
keep going.
even realize
Oh,
it.
minutes up actually. Okay.
Oh.
All right. That's all right. Hey, stop!
I'm
Stop!
I'm writing. It's not drying. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Ooh.
Okay.
Ooh. This is less satisfying than the last time, I tell you what.
So first up, we'll have Adam was tasked with drawing Me Gusta, the meme.
Oh no. Can the camera see that? I can't tell.
You know, it'll probably be fine.
Yeah, it looks good enough. I don't want them to see it, honestly. It's pretty bad.
That's better than mine. So, Adam, if you want to pull up your goth dream or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know.
So this is,
Awesome drawings on
That's-
Google.
that is what Adam had me draw.
To be fair, the reason I chose this is because everything else is very complicated.
Yeah, mine looks like a bipolar squid. So,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. No, you got the easiest one that came up. Bad
Well,
things.
at least
Bad
that's over.
things. That butters my croissant.
Okay, so we're going to talk about a couple more things here that either butter our croissant or burn our biscuits. And then we have one more bit. And that'll be it for today. So let's talk about something that burns biscuits. So,
Roast them like no other.
it's nothing worse than a burnt biscuit.
Am I starting?
No, I'm going to start.
Okay.
So,
Wasn't sure.
probably the thing that burns my biscuit more than anything else is other people taking my time for granted.
Oof.
Yeah.
Well,
This happens to me and Adam quite a bit, because we are not procrastinators. We're the kind of people who you get an assignment and you start it the next day, even if it's due a week later. We like to get things done well before they're due.
We take pride in our productivity.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whether or not we're actually efficient at it.
I like to achieve goals.
Right. Right. So that's kind of where we're coming from. But there are circumstances under which we have to work on a group project or something of that nature, in which you have to coordinate with other people and work on something together, whether or not you'd actually like to. Something about DSU here is that there's quite a few people who you would not want to collaborate with on a project. And one of the reasons why is because we have a lot of lazy people here.
Yeah.
There's a lot of very hardworking, very intelligent people here, but there are also a lot of people who just are not, by any means.
And I think that's probably true for any college. But
yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't what I expected when I came to college, but it's definitely the reality.
Right. So, anyway, you get in these circumstances where you have to try and coordinate with these people. And I'm a lot easier to coordinate with than other people are, because I have all of my stuff done before it's due. So by the time that something comes up, where I have to do things is relatively liquid, because I can push it off further without it being due. So yeah. And this has happened endless times. Endless times throughout our college careers, where we have gotten something done, or we have been prepared to get something done, and people have bailed on us, or people have decided that their time was more valuable than ours, by choosing to be lazy. And you can say, oh, I'm just naturally a procrastinator, or whatever, but if you're working with someone else, you have to compromise. Like, I am not by any means a procrastinator. I'm terrified by procrastination. I always have been. So when I get together with someone who wants to wait until the hour beforehand to get started, we have to meet somewhere in the middle. Like, if the assignment is due a week later, let's meet 3 days from now, right? Let's compromise, because that way both of us sort of win. So we'll set up a time like that, right? Let's meet 3 days from now. And then an hour or two before a meeting, you get an email that says, oh no, something popped up, I can't come. Or, oh no, I have an assignment due in 1 hour and I have to work on that instead. That is called taking my time for granted. And that is not something that I tolerate. This happens not only in group projects for different classes, this happens in professional environments. It happens all over the place. It happens from friends who waited till the last minute to get an assignment done.
Or to study.
Or
for
whatever.
something.
Or whatever. And Adam and I have gotten to the point where we do not tolerate it. Which makes it burn our biscuit a little bit less because we're pretty good at shooting it down like, no, you're going to meet on my terms.
Yeah.
And if you don't, this is what's going to happen. Or we're going to meet in a compromise term. If you mess up, you mess up. I'm not saving your butt. But we have lived through dealing with that crap enough to the point where, yeah. But it just absolutely burns my biscuit.
Yeah. And, I can relate on some extent to the people who procrastinate. Because I was, at one time, very much a procrastinator. Especially in high school. Then I got to college, and frankly, procrastination was just too stressful. It wasn't worth it for me. And over time, I just slowly got farther and farther ahead on my work. And now I'm like John, and I'm like, I don't procrastinate. Procrastinating sucks because I know I'm going to regret it later. But because I used to be a procrastinator, and honestly, to some extent, I still procrastinate a little bit, but I definitely know my bounds now, and I know when it's too late to procrastinate, and when I have to get things done, and it's usually days or weeks before something's due. I can guesstimate the time pretty well, because I'm so used to it now. But I can relate to them, and I don't judge them for their decisions, because I've been there, and I try to help them, and I try to show them my side of the picture, and I try to convince them that they should also not procrastinate, and I'll still help them. But let's talk about when I do help them, and it's last minute. I'm giving them my time. Because I didn't have to be helping them right now. I could have just as easily said no. So I'm giving them my time at the last minute, helping them learn whatever they need to learn to get their assignment done or to pass their test or whatever. And they're stressed out, obviously, because they're at the last minute and they don't want to fail the assignment or the test or whatever's coming up to bite them in the butt. And then they start, for lack of a appropriate term, nagging me. Maybe not even at me, but about the subject. They're just complaining, and...
This is too hard. They didn't teach us this.
Yeah, this is too hard. I can't do this fast enough. They didn't teach us this. And here I am. I'm in the same class. They did teach us this. You can't expect to learn everything for the lecture. You have to go do work on your own. You shouldn't have let this for the last minute. But they just complain. And if they had just put the time in, even at the last minute when I'm helping them, if they had put the time into learning instead of complaining, they would have been fine. But they don't. They just waste the time. They make up excuses. And I used to be there. I know what it's like. But the difference is I would suck it up, understand that I put myself in that situation and push through. I would put the work in and do as best as I could. And if I failed, I failed. That's happened. I remember my very first quiz in college. I failed my very first quiz in college. Do you remember that? Were you in that quiz, Calculus 1?
I was, yes.
Yeah.
In our Calculus 1 class, we had a quiz. It was the first class we ever took here. It was, of 5 courses, right? But it was one of the first classes we ever took. Definitely the first math class we ever took. And there was an algebra quiz. And we very quickly learned that we did not know algebra.
Yeah.
No matter how well we did in our algebra classes in high school, we did not know algebra.
Not up to the level that college thought we did.
Right, and I got a 40%. I'll say it. I got a 40% on that quiz, and you know what that did? That made me realize, this is the way I think. This class isn't too hard. This class isn't setting me up to fail. Yep. It's not that they didn't teach me that in the class. It is that I did not know it. Right? It's that I hadn't sought out how to do these different things in algebra. partially because of high school, but
Yeah.
you can't
I mean,
blame it on high school.
I don't blame it entirely because, frankly, there's just so many things to learn about algebra before college that, I mean, I didn't know half the things that even existed that I should have known. I couldn't have known to learn them because I didn't know they existed, and that happens. But
Right.
I think the main thing about that class is it taught me. It wasn't really a wake-up call in the sense that this is going to be hard. It was a wake-up call in the sense that if I push myself harder, I can learn so much more quicker than I would have ever in high school and stuff. Yeah, and I could have made a decision there to complain and to give up and to pull back and say that I haven't learned enough and I'm not ready. But that wasn't the decision that I made, and that wasn't the decision that John made. And I'm sure a lot of other people failed that quiz too, because let me tell you, it wasn't fun.
Yeah, the class dropped. Half the class was gone, like a couple days later.
Yeah,
that class shrunk.
It was
because,
a rude awakening.
Yeah, and here's the thing: when we got kicked down in the dirt, we were basically thinking, "I'm not gonna let this happen again."
Yeah.
It's like some bully comes up to you and shoves you down into the dirt and like makes you eat the dirt. Instead of you saying, "This sucks so much. This bully is being so rude to me," like whatever. It's you saying, "I'm not gonna let this happen again. If
Yep.
this person approaches me and they're gonna do something, I'm going to take countermeasures." It's the same thing. It's like, I know that these exams are gonna be ruthless. I know that I'm gonna have to put in the time, but I know that if I do, that I have the ability to succeed. And that is the difference between us and people like us who
complain.
we don't complain.
Oh,
people like
sorry.
people
I was
like
moving ahead.
us who don't complain. We realize that sure, maybe the lecture was lacking a little bit, but at the end of the day, it's our responsibility to educate ourselves. When you go to class, it's not the teacher's responsibility to make sure that you understand it. It's the teacher's responsibility to teach the content.
Yeah,
It's
they
your
introduce
responsibility.
you to the subject.
It's your responsibility to consume that content and make it meaningful.
And if you don't do that, and then you put off actually consuming it before the test, and then come to people like me or John, that's your own fault.
Yeah, we're not going to help you anymore.
That's not how college works. I mean, high school, yeah, that's how you got by. That's how I got by. That's how everybody gets by in high school. But I mean, look at me and John. We failed our first math quiz, I guess it was, in college. And we looked at that and we said, you know what? We like this subject. We know that if we push ourselves, we can excel in the subject. And we both took up an extra math major along with our computer science major because of that distinct class and that distinct professor. We saw that if we took up arms, for lack of a better term, we could do this and we would benefit from it, so we did. But all too often, I see students not do that. And if you're not passionate about the subject, that's fine. I've had plenty of classes that I'm not passionate about, and I don't put in that much effort. I put in enough effort to get a good grade, and that's about it. And that's fine. But even with those classes, I didn't wait for the last minute. I knew how much work I needed to put in to get the grade I wanted, and I did that ahead of time, too, because you never know what's going to happen. It's not the world's responsibility to cater to your mishaps.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
really isn't.
That's just the thing, is like, if you want a certain outcome, you have to go out and get that outcome for yourself. The world's not going to present it to you on a silver platter.
Yep.
That's something that we could have learned in high school, but we didn't. We just so happened to learn about it in college. And I'm so glad that we did. Every class that I take where the exam's coming up the next week and I'm like, oh crap, I got to learn all this stuff. That is what I consider a good class.
Yep.
If I go into an exam and it's like I didn't have to study for this whatsoever, it's just all so easy. Why am I paying to take that class? Why am I spending my money, my time to take that class? I should be challenging myself. If you're not challenging yourself, you're not going anywhere. And if you're not seeking those outcomes that you desire, you're not going to achieve them. It's the world will not cater to your wants. You have to make the world your oyster. So
that leads me to my burntest of biscuits. This is just a solid crispy charcoal of a biscuit at this point.
You could play hockey with Adam's
Yeah.
biscuit.
But it's probably so burnt it's gonna shatter into charcoal dust when you hit it. It's that bad. I don't know. When you burn a biscuit that much, is it going to turn to dust? I really don't know.
That's a different
But-
conversation.
That's physics. I'm not a physics major. Let's pretend it will. Okay. If you're gonna go to college is expensive. At least in America, we're Americans. College is expensive here. I know if you're European, probably costs significantly less because different economic system, and that's fair. But if you're American and you go to college, you're gonna pay a lot of money, and you know what? It might not come out of your pocket. It might come from loans from a bank. It might come from loans from the government. It might come out of your parents' pocket. I think a lot of times it comes out of all of those. I know for me, it came out of my pocket and my parents' pocket and the bank's pocket and the government's pocket. And as
And
I
everybody else's.
I mean, I had scholarships and they just weren't enough. As time went, I took loans and I intended to pay them. Normal stuff. I worked as hard as I could when I was here and I got more scholarships and I'm doing fine now. But the thing is, I was putting all this money into my education and I was putting work in. I remember my freshman and sophomore year, John and I would often, and I mean often, probably 4 out of 5 days of the week, spend late nights studying calculus or calculus 2 or our various
computer science
classes. The generals we put less time into, but I mean, there's a lot of papers I had to write, and I don't like writing papers. Professional papers, I guess, I'm fine with because those you just have to illustrate your point. But like English classes, I'm not a fan of English classes. Really, I put a lot of time into doing classes, both that I liked and that I didn't like, but I put time in either way because I knew that I was putting a lot of money in, and other people were putting a lot of money in for me so I could get as best the education that I can. And all around me, including my friend group, including people who are outside of my friend group, I see people who just waste that money. And I don't mean go to classes, do the minimum to get the A. I mean people who don't go to classes, don't turn in assignments, completely fail the classes and have to retake them, which that means that's an extra $900 a class or more. And I seriously doubt that that's all their money that they're spending. I feel like that money is coming out of other people's pockets and they're just sitting here wasting it away. When honestly, they could be doing other things. They could easily find jobs. Well, I hope easily find jobs that don't require a college degree and be at least self-sufficient. But other people are taking large sums of money and putting it toward these people's educations, and what are they doing with it? They're sitting in their rooms.
And that is...
I mean, this might be a DSU thing. I'm not to interrupt you, sorry.
No, you're good.
This might be more of a DSU thing than other colleges because we are an excessively nerdy school. But so many students just put time into video games and computer games and tabletop RPGs, which frankly I do too. But I make sure that I have my work done before I play. And so many students are just failing classes. I've talked to so many professors who tell me numerous stories about students. Of course, they can't name names or anything like that, but anonymous students who just don't show up. There was one professor specifically who told me about a student who, he even showed up to the class, but he just flat out didn't take the exam. So he failed it.
Yeah.
I mean, you could guess and get, 20% maybe?
Right. I mean, this is an example of people who are not taking action.
Yeah.
These are people who, they sit idly by and they expect the world to present them what they want on a silver platter at a large expense to them and possibly their parents. And who cares about the bank and the government, because that's already their money. I mean, you're gonna be a slave to the government and the bank for the rest of your life, no matter what. Adam and I are going to too, even though we've busted our butts to get here. We're gonna be paying off debt for a while.
They provide a service, so we have to provide a service back. Or I guess if you count money as a good, then they provide a good and we provide a service. That's how economies work. But the problem is,
I'm just saying the thing is that even though we try our absolute best and we think about the cost of going to college and how are we going to sustain ourselves after school, even though we think about that all the time, we are still in a situation that is not favorable for us after we get out of college. We both have, we both have jobs lined up for ourselves after college.
We worked for them.
Well, yeah, we've worked very hard to get there, and we're there now. But we still have a lot of money to pay back, and we've spent a whole lot of our lives getting to this point. So, I personally, I literally cannot imagine being in the state that those people who just sat idly by and hoped for the world to cater to every need. I can't imagine how they're feeling at this point, nearing graduation.
And to be fair, I can relate to them in some extent. Sometimes you lose motivation. Sometimes you end up depressed. Sometimes you end up just frankly tired. I've been there. But there's resources available for help.
Get out of college! You're not... Why do you keep spending $15K a semester to go to something that you're not sure about? If you go to college for the first semester, and this is my 100% advice. If you go to college for the first semester and you are not absolutely fired up about what you're doing, get the frick out because college is expensive.
And frankly, there is no requirement to go to college. One of my best friends who was at this college, he tried for 2 years and frankly, he wasn't cut out for it. And he admitted that and dropped out, and he is more successful now than he was in.
Well, yeah, don't quote me on this, but about 80%, last time I checked, of jobs in the United States do not require a degree. In fact, it's probably going to be even harder to get a job there because they're going to think that you want to be paid more because you have a degree. So consider that before you go to college. I mean, if you want...
Consider whether you really want a higher education.
Exactly.
And if you do, don't waste it.
Don't go to college to party. You can party without going to college.
Very true.
In fact, a lot of times, it's just don't pay $15,000 a semester. Well, it's probably not $15,000 a semester at DSU. It's more like $8,000.
Depends on
without
the school,
scholarships or whatever.
Some of them were 30th semester.
Yeah, but if you're spending that much, you don't have to spend that much to party. If that's what you really want to do, save up some money, party for a couple of years with your friends, and get it out of your system and go work. Because...
But at least then it's your money that you're spending on it, and you're not wasting other people's money. Just like me and John were complaining about, or burning our biscuits about people using our time. It burns my biscuits just as much when people burn other people's money on nothing.
Yeah, and
it's not even really time or money that's matter, it's resources.
I'm not as concerned with doing that with the bank, because here's the thing. If you burn up the bank's money, they're going to come back and get it from you, because that's the contract that you agreed to when you took the money. It's not that they're screwing you over. That's another situation. It's not that they're screwing you over, it's that you committed to something, and you are not holding up to your commitment if, whatever the case is. But here's the thing. If you take money from the bank, that's basically like taking your money and saying it's at half value from yourself. Because a lot of times by the time you get out of college, by the time you pay off those student loans, you end up paying like time and a half of what you would have paid if you could pay out of pocket, or 2 times as much if you could pay out of pocket. So that's just something to consider. Like, it's a financial investment. It's not just what everybody does, so I'm going to do it too. Figure out your life before you go to college. I got really lucky. I chose a major that fit me, right? That I found something that I was very passionate about, and Adam definitely found the same thing. We are lucky. It's not something that happens to a majority of students.
And if you go to college and that's not for you, and you want to drop out and try again later, that is absolutely acceptable. There's nothing wrong with that. Just don't waste the money now. Figure it out later. You have your entire life in front of you. You don't have to start college right out of high school if you don't want to. And if you're not ready, don't do it. Don't let... Your parents are going to pressure you into it, I'm sure. I mean, tons of parents do that. But if you aren't ready for college, that's okay. You don't have to do it right now. If you don't want to ever go to college, you don't have to do it.
Yeah.
If you want to be an entrepreneur, you can sure try.
Preach.
That's basically what I've been doing for the last, 20 minutes?
Yeah, so, I mean, but here's
the point is, don't be responsible. That's really what this boils down
to. Yeah, but here's what, I'll wrap it back up for you. Every single thing that has burned our biscuit is not something that burns our biscuit because it immediately puts us in a situation that we do not like. It's because we want to see we want to succeed, and we want the people around us to succeed. When you go through a cashier's aisle, and you try and give them a positive outlook on life, and they don't take it, that is their neglect to happiness. That is them saying, nope, I don't want to deal with that right now. I don't want to even partake in any of your happiness, or even try. I don't want to do that for myself. When someone comes to you because they procrastinated on an assignment, that is them saying, yep, I didn't take the initiative. That is them saying, my time isn't worth spending on things that will benefit me.
And frankly, even if you do that and then you come at the last minute and put in the effort, that's better than coming in at the last minute and complaining about it.
Preach. And the last thing, going to school when you are not sure is going to put you in a situation that is not favorable to you. And that is something that it's like, it doesn't immediately, it impacts me and Adam because we have to deal with those people. But it impacts you so much more.
And it impacts the people you love.
And the people you love.
I should say.
And the people who control your money. And the government.
Well,
yeah. Whatever. But you get our point. It's the things that burn our biscuits. I mean, we can sit here and toot our horn all day that we're, we take the time.
We are probably biased because we're looking at this from our angle. Which is fine.
Right.
I mean, you can disagree with us, and a lot of you are probably right to some extent. That's what logical debate is, right?
Exactly. But we can sit here all day and say, oh, we're hardworking and we value our education 100% and all those things. But here's the thing, like, there are people who do that way better than us.
Definitely.
And there is always room for improvement for everyone. And the only reason we're saying that is because it's not because we're trying to say, oh, we're so high and mighty. We're just saying, like, Adam and I, like, no offense, Adam, but, like, just by nature, we're pretty dumb. But
you're right.
By nature, we're also tenacious. We're tenacious AF, and we work to get what we need. It's not like I sit down in front of my calculus assignment, and it just comes to me, I write it down, it's done, and I hand it in.
Yeah.
There have been times where I've stared at a sheet of paper for 6 straight hours. And you know how dumb I felt then? I felt like literally as dumb as this coffee mug, right? I couldn't. Oh, there's actually still liquid in there. So here's the thing. Like you get what you put in.
That's really what it boils down to. You get what you put in. So if you want to put it in, and accept.
Don't take that out of context.
Man, I just realized how that sounds.
If you want to put in hard work, you will receive good things. Doesn't matter if you're sweeping floors, if you're flipping burgers, if you're writing code, if you're running a huge business, or if you're running a country. Doesn't matter. If you put in your effort and your good intentions, you will receive good things.
And we're not saying you're going to get $1 million. We're not saying you're going to get the promotion you're after. But you're going to at least accomplish something. That's worthwhile, right? Accomplishing what you're trying to do. Even if you don't get the raise you're after, even if you don't get the promotion, even if your project gets canceled, whatever you're doing, at least you put in the effort. You learned something, I would hope, from whatever you're doing, and you made some sort of progress, both in the project and personally. And frankly, that's what it's about. That's more than if you sat on the couch, you didn't. You wasted that time sitting on the couch. And sometimes you need to, but if you put in the effort on the project, or whatever task, even if it's as little as cleaning the dishes, I can relate.
Yeah. That's
something. And that's a start. That's worthwhile right there. Even if it's as little as taking out the trash, that's something. That is still accomplishment. That is changing what the situation used to be.
Right. Value your time. Value other people's time. Invest in yourself. Take action yourself. Coming to you from Central Podcasting Unit.
We believe in you.
We believe in you. It doesn't matter where you're at in life. We know that you can put in the effort and achieve results at whatever it is that you want to accomplish. Just have passion. Now, we're going to end the episode on a little segment I like to call Let's Make Noises.
Oh boy.
So, I'm going to pull up a random animal, and Adam is going to be required to make a noise that animal makes. So, without further ado,
I thought we were both gonna make the noise.
yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
Adam can pull up something for me. So, what does this animal make? What does this animal sound make?
What does this animal make?
Do it loud, do it proud.
Okay.
Invest in yourself.
Do they get to know what animal
Nope,
it is?
they get to figure out
Okay.
afterwards.
So I've seen this thing at the zoo a few times.
Don't give them any hints.
That was its jaw snapping.
All right, we'll reveal what that animal was at the end. All right, Adam, go ahead and pick an animal for me.
Okay. I don't know what sound this animal makes.
I don't either.
Do I win?
I have no clue. I have actually no clue.
I'm done. You got me. Oh, are we doing more?
Oh yeah, we're going for a
Oh,
while.
Lord.
This is a hot streak. We got to keep it going.
Oh, where's my trumpet? Have you ever... that would give it away. Nay.
Come on, give it some oomph.
Nay. Oh, boy.
Oh wait, choose one for me.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Well, here's another one you don't know the noise of.
Come on, give me throw me a bone.
Can't even spell it right. Can't even spell it right.
Come on. Come on, Adam.
Okay.
I don't even know if this thing makes noise.
I have honestly no idea.
You gave me a freaking octopus. What does that thing make? Like,
I don't know. Alright, so are you like choking me? Yeah, you are, apparently. Okay. Honestly, I don't even know what this was.
I don't know. Okay. I'm gonna give you one that's difficult now.
Oh, damn it.
Well, actually, this one isn't that difficult.
So what?
Here you go. Go for it. Go for it.
Flap? Flap.
Come on, give us some oomph.
I'm trying to think. What if?
Just don't think. Just do.
That's. I mean,
Stop thinking. Look at that thing and
God.
make its noise.
Gulp. 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 Gulp.
All right. Choose another animal for me, quick.
Okay.
Choose one that actually you've heard make a noise. Because it's not fair.
Okay.
Okay.
This is gonna be on the internet forever.
Yep. All right. I'm gonna choose another one for him.
Okay.
Two more.
Okay.
All right.
God, speed round.
Yeah. Speed round.
Oh Lord. Do you want me to give
Just
you
do
an
it.
answer?
Go. Get going.
I've seen people make the noise. I don't know how to do it with my humanly body.
All right. Well, you gotta choose another one for me.
Oh yeah, you're right. Ooh, if I'm running out of animals.
There's a lot of them, Adam.
Yeah, you're right. Meow.
Okay. That was
That
very
happened.
cringy.
Yeah.
But we're done.
Thank
So-
God. Praise the Lord.
The very first one that Adam did, I believe you went alligator.
The clap was the jaw snapping on his prey.
I don't even remember what I did. I think I went.
Yeah.
That was a giraffe. Have you ever heard a giraffe make a noise?
I don't even know if they make noises.
I don't think they
They
do.
might be silent.
All right, Adam obviously did a horse. Nay. I don't even know. I did an antelope next. I can't even remember what I did. I think that was when I tried to inhale, like.
I don't think that's the noise they make, but I'm honestly not sure.
Wait, this is a coyote. Okay, and then I did a coyote.
Yeah. Wait, what happened to the
I don't know what happened to the other one.
I'm not sure either. And then I did an elephant, kind of. But
And
I
then
really just blew air out my mouth.
And then I tried to do a lion. Coming to you from Madison, South Dakota, Central Podcasting Unit. We are